Welcome back to another episode of Gimme Some Truth. We have a special one here today. We have Felipe Quaassdorff with us. He's our newest expat financial advisor that we have. He's also teaming with another member of our team. Stan Farmer's also in the room with us. The two of them are just a super team. I mean, the creme de la creme of the expat group, of course. And we'll dig in a little bit more on Felipe's background, a little bit more about him. First of all, Stan having kind of a partner in crime here, if you will. When was the last time that you worked on a team by yourself as an advisor?
Worked on a team by myself?
Well, I got a team by yourself, exactly.
Well, I mean, I like to think that we're all one big team on the expat side of things. But yeah, this is going to be different. It's good that I get a chance to have a young Padawan learner and bring somebody up who can offer support with incoming and existing clients and, learn from my experience and, complement, what I bring to the table and offer clients more, right? More is always better. We always endeavor to do everything that we can for our clients, and I'm very confident that Felipe is going to be a wonderful addition, and that our team is going to be very dynamic, and that we're going to do great things.
That's right. And Felipe, getting to your background, first of all, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Getting to your background, obviously, you grew up elsewhere, and so a little bit about your prior background, where you grew up, where you went to school, and a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Very happy to be here with you today. And well, I am originally from Chile, Santiago. I studied there business and economics. It's a 5-year degree program. Then I started my career in equity research as an equity analyst, a lot of modeling. And what happened next, I decided to step up in a role as a portfolio manager, working mostly in fixed income, still in my home country. And I love what I was doing, but I was lacking that kind of client-facing role. I still have some meetings with clients, but that was 10% of the time. And that's something that always got my attention. And then, circumstances of life, my wife told me one day, like, oh, do you mind if I applied to role in the United States, 2021, middle of the pandemic? Sure, do it. What are the chances? And what happened after 3 months, she got the job. And as you know, like many of the expat community, visa processes are very slow. She got her visa, but mine took 1 year to get approved. After that year, I decided to move to the US. And I said, okay, what is going to be next for me? I have a CFA, chartered designation. I earned it in 2020. And wasn't sure if I should get a job right away or maybe take a little break and do an MBA, kind of having that time to think and organize myself and think really what I want to do after. And I found an amazing program at Washington University in St. Louis. I got a good fellowship there, and I decided to do that 2-year program. And after that, I realized, okay, how I can mix investments that I really love what it is, but mixing with more client-facing role. And financial advisory was really something that popped up to me, like, okay, this is what I really want to do. So that is how I ended up being in here and applying to Walner Condon and working today as an expat advisor.
That's excellent. I mean, what a deep background in a short amount of time as well. So did you and your wife live apart for a year?
For 1 year, I was in Chile. Well, she was here in the US in Madison, at UW Madison. And then, she wanted to kill me because I said, okay, I was searching for different universities, and I really wanted to know what is the best for me too. And it was St. Louis. That was a 5 hours drive. So it was another rough 2 years, but I got used to the drive. It is a 5 hours drive. It's a little boring but when it ended up working well. So
A lot of podcast time during that drive, right?
actually, yes, it's really a straight line. Cornfields is the perfect time for hearing a podcast and really use your brain, something else while driving.
That's excellent. And now you're together again, you
Yep.
know, which is great. You get to spend all kinds of time together in Madison. So, Stan, you know, you guys have a good complement between the two of you. So, you know, Felipe being a CFA and you being a CFP as well. That's a great combination right there.
Yeah, I think so. I really do think so. I think that combining Felipe's an investment analysis while hopefully learning from me, you know, what clients need, right? And how to talk, and more importantly, how to listen to those client needs, and how to put those things together to come up with solid financial planning that is symbiotically combined with an investment strategy that is truly aligned with what we learned from that client, who they are, right? It's gonna be fun, Felipe. You're gonna be glad that you did this, and we were really happy to find you, because trying to find somebody that is a fit on our team, we like to keep things international here. I lived and worked abroad for the better part of 5 years. You know, Sil, like you, came here to the United States from another country. Keith lived and worked and taught abroad. Talia had kind of an internship working experience abroad. So Ian as well. So, you know, finding that isn't always easy, and, you know, your, you know, Chilean work experience and your world travel is going to serve you well in this role.
Yeah, definitely. And when you
and your experience as a current expat and all of the immigration,
It's
you know,
not easy.
things that you have
never
to,
easy.
Yeah, all these things that you have to go through, it creates the necessary level of empathy for the complexity of the situations that our clients are in.
Yeah, and being an expat yourself, I mean, what have been some of the eye-opening moments for you kind of coming into the U.S. then as an expat?
Well, it's a ton, to be honest, because at the end, you start from scratch. That's always hard, not only in terms of your career, but also in your community. And that makes it a special challenge. And there is always new things, visas, taxes. For example, I was telling someone, because how the system is in the IRS, I have to do it manually, in paper. I cannot do it online. So you have to learn all those little things. And today actually, I was struggling with St. Louis County taxes. Small things that you never thought about it. You have to learn as an expat and start building from scratch, start learning from scratch. It's a great experience, to be honest. Challenging because you are like 8 p.m. trying to solve something on maybe tax or whatever it is. But I think it's totally rewarding. And it really kind of make you understand that you are not only in one place, like you're totally open. At the end, if I was living in Chile for my whole life, 30-something years, and then I moved, and it's hard, but it's totally possible, and I think you will never be the same person after.
Very true.
That's a great perspective. And for yourself, let's dig into a little bit about your portfolio management experience. You said mostly fixed income. What were you trading and what were you constructing?
Well, I was mostly on fixed income, in local fixed income. And what is interesting there, well, you play with durations, but we have to also do the trades, the strategy, and presenting to clients that was also institutional clients. So being on the trading, it's very important to get the sense of what is happening with the market. Fixed income, a lot of people, when you talk with people, it's like, oh, everyone wants to work in equities, but the fixed income market is huge. It's 10 times, more than 10 times what equity is. And feeling like seeing the trades placing on the system and understanding what is like the sensation, the feeling of the market on the trading desk, it's another experience. And the volumes, like you see billions of dollars in transactions. It's not like, okay, thousands there's maybe 100,000. No, we're talking about billions. And a lot of institutional players, because you have pension funds, you have, of course, institutional players. So it's a very interesting experience as a portfolio manager to be able to work in the fixed income market. Sometimes, as I said, it's not the most attractive because you play with bips. It's not like, oh, you have that 10% up, 10% down. No, it's if you have a 0.5% or 1% up and down, it's a huge swift in the market. Imagine a 10-year bond yield going up 20 pips. Oh, that's insane. And even in price, it's not much. We know that, but it's really like, it's more related to what is happening in the economy, like what is going to happen with interest rates, than the stock market that can be more panic and other stuff happening.
So, Stan, how do you see this sort of deep expertise on this fixed income side helping the two of you when you manage money for clients?
Yeah, I think the fixed income perspective and experience is fantastic. But I want to assure all existing clients that are watching this that you're not suddenly going to get a big allocation to Chilean bonds.
No.
We're going to just dial that down.
We do have a good credit rating, though, the government bonds. But no.
But Felipe understands the importance of interest rates on financial markets. Most people, that I talk to, clients and non-clients alike, want to project, geopolitical events onto, they want to know how it's impacting their investments. They want to know what they should do because CNBC is covering it nonstop. And, today Trump said the war will be short and therefore, markets reacted. But, in the general scheme of things, nothing is more important to not just the bond market, but equity market than interest rates, right? So understanding the impact of interest rate and currency. When you're working with people that are living abroad and spending money abroad, these are very important things. And I think Felipe brings a certain level of expertise that it can only complement and enhance the advice that we have to offer.
And something to add there, like I also work in equity research, and interest rates also impact equity research. Then the equity research kind of how you work in your daily life. When you model the free cash flows of a company, those have to be discounted with an interest rate. So if you modify that interest rate a little bit, your future cash flows will be either growing a lot or decreasing a lot. And that is what really moves the market. Because if you have a growth company that you expect a lot of future cash flows instead of today that is losing money, changing the assumption of the interest rate makes a huge change in those growth stocks. Mm-hmm. So it's also important in the understanding the interest rates. It's also important in the equity market and to understand how you value a stock as an equity valuation analyst.
So also, I'd like to bring up something that I learned from you early on as well. I love technology, and I've been one of our technology guys here at the firm, and all of a sudden, Felipe's opening up this new tool that he has, and he's like, we already have this. It's called Notebook LM. And so he goes into it and pulls this thing up, and basically, it's an AI tool that you can use with your own research. So you feed it your own research. So I'll let you speak a little bit more about that. But you've you've I don't know if you've saved me a lot of hours, but you've got me to invest a lot of hours into this, and it's been fantastic, both firm-wide as
New toys to play with.
New toys to play with. Well, data
exactly.
repository, we're building this kind of content library too, that people can utilize. But a little bit about Notebook LM that you'd introduce me to.
Yep, sure. Well, what I think first, AI today, I think I was very lucky to be doing my MBA in the last year, on the last 2023 and 2024.
So AI could write your papers for you?
No, but kind
Don't
of.
admit that. Don't admit that.
Kind
Okay,
of.
go ahead.